And we say good morning to you. Welcome. We are live at Freddy's in North Johnson City on this Thursday, January the 11th, 2018. Show number 663. We say good morning to you. We're live here. Got lots to talk about. As always, we do on the show. We always start our show with by dedicating with the man who hung on the cross. And so let's get that started out of the book of Psalms 32, 7 to 11. Verses are for today's verse of the day. It goes like this: as I am your hiding place, I will protect you from trouble and surround you with songs of deliverance. I will instruct you and teach you in the ways you should go. I will counsel you and watch over you. Rejoice in me. How about that? That is a good thing for sure. And so we say good morning to you. Looking for the magic bell. There it is. There's the cross bell. There you go. A little cheesy, but that's okay. It works. Good morning to you. Thanks for being with us live at Freddy's in North Johnson City, where they are gearing up for big 2018. And man, this weather's been warm here the last couple of days, and that gives folks a chance to get out here and get some good custard. Woo! The Freddy's kind of custard. They've got the signature turtle. They got the PBC&B. That would be peanut butter, chocolate, and banana. The dirt and worms, the Hawaiian delight. They've got the chocolate brownie delight to cool you down. That's some of Freddy's specialties here again at Freddy's in North Johnson City, right in front of Food City on State of Franklin. Also, of course, they've got the savory sandwiches. We're going to be talking about that throughout the course of the show. And, of course, here at Freddy's, they got the fundraiser. This is a really cool thing for you to do. And it's very simple. And Randall's going to come by here and talk to us about it here, store manager, in just a second. But it's pretty easy to do. You come over and get your group organization, nonprofit organization, to raise a lot of money in one night. Here again at Freddy's. It's called the Taste That Brings You Back. It's called the Freddy's Give Back Fundraiser. And so that's something we'll be talking about here today as we're live at Freddy's in North Johnson City. We've got Major League Baseball. We've got college football, college basketball, the NFL, a little bit of NFL. Also, you have a big basketball game tonight right down the road at East Tennessee State University and UNC Greensboro at Freedom Hall, Johnson City. So we'll talk about that. We've also had a big win last night by our buddy Coach Bill Robinson of Milligan College, the Buffaloes. Huge win last night on the road at Truett McConnell. Got in late last night. Coach will come by and talk about his kids and the big win they've got on the road, the Milligan men's basketball team. Carmichael joins us a little bit later on in the show. Also, Jeff Birchfield from the Johnson City Press will stop by and talk a little NASCAR and a little college football and whatever else is on his mind. All that coming up again a little bit later on the show. Our countdowns are on. The Food City 500 countdown. Yes, it's right around the corner. We're 94 days out from the Food City 500. But even closer, the Daytona 500. We are 38 days away from dropping the green flag from the Great American Challenge, and that would be, of course, the Daytona 500, where Kurt Busch and that Stewart Haas Racing machine will be defending his crown from a year ago. The Food City 500 here at Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's last great Coliseum. Jimmy Johnson back in town to defend his crown. Of course, Kyle Larson set on the pole, and that'll be here, as we said, will be 94 days will be the Cup race, and of course the Xfinity race the day before that. So you're 93 days away from the Fitzgerald Glider Kids 300. So it's going to be a fun time at Bristol Motor Speedway. Now's the time for you to get season tickets for both the April and the August races, starting at $149 for a ticket. You get 5 great days of racing, Saturday and Sunday rather, in April, coming up in a couple of months. And in August, you got Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for the big 3-night racing weekend activity at the world's last great Coliseum. And so when you become a season ticket holder at Bristol Motor Speedway, you get a membership card, which doubles as a Food City Gas and Go card, a membership card, which doubles as a Food City Value card. You get discounts on concessions, souvenir purchases. You get first choice on renewal incentives the following year, first choice on seat relocation. All that going on again. Also, you've got some special events by being a season ticket holder you get to go to that nobody else gets to go to at Bristol Motor Speedway. How can you find out more information? I'm glad you asked. Bristol Speedway, BristolMotorspeedway.com, BristolMotorspeedway.com, or call locally at 423-BRISTOL or 1-866-415-4158. So we are 38 days away from the Daytona 500 and 94 days away from the Food City 500. We're at Freddy's here in North Johnson City. We'll take a break, and store manager Randall Jenkins is going to stop by. Also, we'll jump in and talk a little baseball. We've got some movement going on, and we told you yesterday when our guest Craig Salyer was here that there's going to be a lot of movement over the next couple of weeks because, a month from Saturday, pitchers and catchers reporting for spring training. So there's a lot of free agents out there J.D. Martinez, Eric Hosmer, Jake Arrieta, some of the guys, the big dogs. Manny Machado still out there kind of hanging. A lot of teams looking at him. Yu Darvish. But we've got one guy that's nailed down since yesterday. We'll tell you about that coming up on our first segment on Major League Baseball. We'll do that right after you hear this, as we're live again at Freddy's in North Johnson City. And glad to have you with us here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 663 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show, live from Freddy's in North Johnson City. At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City. Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We're live at Freddy's in North Johnson City on this Thursday. Again, the show number 663. There you go. Countdowns we told you before we took the break. Daytona 500, 38 days away. And, of course, you've got the Food City 500, 94 days out. When Jimmy Johnson back in town to defend his crown at the world's last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. We're joined. Here he is. Here's the man. He's in the house.
How are
Ladies
you?
and gentlemen, Randall Jenkins, store manager. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks for letting us come over here, have a big time.
It's
and
a pleasure every time.
Oh, yeah. We love it. And so, gosh, what's been going on? What's the special going on this month right now?
Well, we've still got our mushrooms cheddar burger, but it's getting ready to change, and I'll keep what's coming a little surprise coming up. But we've got it for another couple of weeks, and we still got some pumpkin pie going. So
really?
Pumpkin pie concrete still going a little bit until supplies last. But it's going great. We had a good Christmas, good New Year's, and my goal this year is to help out as many people as I can with fundraisers.
There you go. And you've got a great event. It's called the Give Back Fundraiser, and there it is. And so, Randall, tell us how easy it is for folks who want to raise money.
All I have to do is come in here, fill out one little piece of paperwork like that, and we'll make them some flyers up. They handle them out in their community or in their interest groups, and they come in here, and from 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whichever you choose, until up to about 9, 15% of the sales every time somebody mentions that group. And I've seen some groups walk away with some pretty hefty money. So, and it's our little way of giving back. It really helps out, and we've helped out sports teams and causes. We're actually at Daniel Boone right now. We're doing something a little bit different. We're helping send a group to Costa Rica, but we're selling cookies to them, and they're reselling them. It's really done good at the basketball games. So I was glad to help them out. Costa Rica, I didn't get to go to Costa Rica when I was in high school.
I don't think I can spell Costa Rica, so there you go. But there's folks heading that way. That's good stuff. And so it really is that easy. So for somebody's out there watching and listening here in the Tri-Cities, of course, you got a store also in Kingsport. But I know we want them coming here to this store, obviously, if you can, because that's where my man's at. And so it really is that easy. I know we're in here all the time, but the Unicoi County, there's a bluegrass band in here from Unicoi County High School. They've been in here, and there's the gentleman's name that, gosh, what was the name? Helping the ladies have been in prison trying to get a jump start coming out of life, or coming out of prison and setting up their life. I just went totally blank. I can see him.
Steve is his name.
There you go, Steve.
He's a good guy, and it's a really good cause. And the schools and everything. It's really been great giving back, and I just love it. It makes the job worthwhile. So coming into it this year, I just want to focus more on fundraisers and getting back out, being out at the schools and everything, and helping out it's where it's at.
Absolutely.
So, and if any of the sports teams or concession stands wants to do anything like that, basically all we have to do is we sell you guys the cookies, the frozen custard cookies, for $1 a piece, and they resell them at $2 or whatever they may see fit to sell them at. And all they have to have is a chest freezer of some sort, and it's just that simple.
When you leave here, when you get ready to take off, you should come back over and let me do a show and tell the cookie. That way I can show them what they're getting. It's not a little tiny cookie, it's huge.
Oh,
cookie.
no, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge for what they get, and it's really done good. I can't wait till baseball season starts, so definitely gonna hit that.
Talking to Randall Jenkins again, we're live here. We are at Freddy's in North Johnson City, and so we're going to talk about the Super Reader Club coming up in a second. But up here is a T-shirt. It says, "I'm one cool kid at Freddy's." Tell me about the Kids Club at Freddy's.
Oh, the Kids Club T-shirts. So they come in and they can purchase the T-shirts. It's very low price. It's like $3.99, and every time they wear it in, they get a free custard. So I mean, to be a cool kid, you wear any shirt and you get a free custard every time you come in. So it's really, I've got all the kid sizes pretty much, and all I have to do is just come in and get one and wear them in later. Got all kinds of kids that come in and wear it. This place is filled up with red shirts most of the time. So
I tried to get Randall to give me a XXL kid shirt. He said, "Nah, you're too big. You're too old." But I'd wear it every day because it's good. I came in the other day, and I'll tell you, I had the tooth pulled. Everybody knows that by now. So to cool down the tooth, got me some chocolate custard the other day.
Say you're a chocolate man, ain't you?
Oh, man.
Chocolate custard.
Man, it hit the spot too.
It's good.
You got it. That good cold down on that old tooth, where the hole where the tooth was. That's good stuff. So, and of course, we talk about the fundraisers and we talk about the kids club, but the cornerstone of this business is the food. And you know, you talk about the sandwiches and the ice cream or the custard. So start in with the sandwiches. Tell me about some of the sandwiches.
Oh, the steak burgers. It's so good it's hard to explain. It's a slightly thicker center burger and thin, crispy edges, and it's always cooked to order. We don't start cooking the food until you order it, so it's as fresh as possible. Fresh fries, fresh burger, everything's hot. And the fries, shoestring fries, hot, crispy, seasoned perfectly. And then it goes to the custard. You finish it off with our custard. I think I see a sign up there every now and then. It flashes by on the menu board. It's what ice cream wishes it could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's just richer, creamier, and less denser by far. I mean, they don't serve custard anymore. They serve custard back in the day. It's the taste that brings you back. So, I mean, a turtle sundae with hot fudge, hard caramel, pecans on it. I don't know how it could get any better.
Exactly. That's good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's here at Freddy's. They're open 7 days a week. Also, they're always giving back to the community. And I know for first-hand testimonial that this works because I got a little person involved in this. This is the Freddy's You're a Super Reader program where you get a free single-topping mini sundae. The kids do. It's really easy. Tell them how the program works because there's the print on it. You can't read that. But
on the back there, right, it's just a slot for 5 books that the youngins have read, and a teacher or librarian or parent signs off on it, and they bring it in, and they get a free one-topping sundae.
Yep.
So it's simple as that. Read a book or read 5, come in or have it read to you as long as the teacher, librarian, or parent signs off on it, and simple as that. I've got so many back here. I'm getting ready to fill up one of these windows with it. So it's really a great program for the kids. You know, if it gets them to read a couple of books, hey, we done our job on it.
Absolutely. See, that's what I like about Freddy's because they're pushing the kids and they're pushing raising money for nonprofits, and so there's lots of different ways to come in here and take advantage of the opportunities afforded you as a consumer. Kids Club for the little people, the fundraisers for the big groups, super readers for little people. So it just goes on. And then coming up this summer, if you're interested, you got an event coming up, and you want to give Randall a call, and you can sit down and talk to him about what and how they can come out and help you out. I know you went with East Tennessee State, the back to school move-in program. You went over there and helped those kids back in the fall.
Oh yeah, gave out some free custard over there. Got them, welcomed them to the state. So we're welcome back to school. We also, I almost forgot to mention, we've already got 6 car shows lined up. I've already got the dates planned. I'll have them written out in a poster and be hanging up here in the store here shortly. But we fill this parking lot up, and we do a fundraiser on that now too, and we give it to the car show group. But we all come together on what group we're going to give it to. Whatever fundraisers, and they charge a gate to entry fee, and then they give it back. You know, so it's really a great thing. Last year we filled this parking lot up several times with so many fascinating cars. It was amazing. Old cars, classic cars, hot rods. I mean, you name it.
Which fits right into Freddy's.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're playing the 50s music in behind us.
Jerry Lee Lewis going on right there.
Yeah.
Going on in the back. So
whole lot of shaking going on. Jerry Lee tickling the ivories on the overhead, the 50s music they play in here, so it's really cool.
That's it.
So anyway, that's what's going on here. It's a cool place. It's Freddy's in North Johnson City on State of Franklin, right in front of Food City. What do you want to leave us with here, my friend? Tell us about the Chop House Steak Burger. Things about to get good. Is that what it says over there?
Yeah,
A1
we've
Chop
had it
House
for a
Steak
while,
Burger.
and it has sold amazing. It's got mushrooms on it, seasoned mushrooms, white cheddar cheese on it, A1 garlic sauce. I mean, it's served on a nice thick potato bun. I mean, I've ate several since. It's got also grilled onions on it. I about forgot about that. The grilled onions and the mushrooms sauteed all up together and then put on top, melted in that white cheddar cheese. I mean, I think I'll go have me one right there in a minute. It's lunchtime. So
good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, and the Sundays, you can get them in mini, regular, or large. The Hawaiian Delight, the Dirt Worms, the PPC&B, the Signature Turtle, the Chocolate Brownie Delight. Which one's most popular?
Turtle by far. And the turtle and the concrete, we also have concrete. So Sunday, to get into that, Sunday is made, like you originally said, all the toppings on top. And we also have what we call as concrete. And the way it got its name is you can turn it upside down and it wouldn't come out the cup. Still thick enough to eat with a spoon, but too thick to suck up with a straw. We do shakes, but our concrete, it just blends everything in just enough to where you get a bite of all the ingredients every time you take a bite.
Mm-hmm.
So like a turtle with the fudge and the caramel and the pecans in it, or a brownie delight with a good chunk of brownie in it with fudge, topped off with whipped cream and cherry.
Good stuff.
I don't know which one's better.
There you go.
You're a chocolate man, so I know which one you think's better.
I like me some chocolate.
So,
is there a website we can go to learn more about Freddy's?
Yeah, Freddy'sUSA.com.
Freddy'sUSA.com.
It's all on there. We're growing. I think last time I looked, over 260 locations. We might be over 270 now. So, and we're growing in this area. We got Morristown. We've got Bristol right over the line, exit 5. We've got Kingsport. And we're getting ready to open one up down the road a little bit.
Down the road. There you go.
So down a little bit further than Morristown. So it's a grown company. Happy to be with them. So
Freddy's, it is very easy. If you at first don't succeed, try a Freddy's combo meal. There you go. That's what's up on the marquee. And again,
all kinds of little Freddy sayings around here.
I love it. So the taste that brings you back, Freddy's right there. I love it.
Yeah.
Randall Jenkins with us, Freddy's store manager. You're going to come back in a little while, right?
Hey, absolutely. Pleasure being here. Pleasure having you out here.
Oh, yeah.
So, as
love
always.
Good Christian man, a good friend, and a county commissioner. He's in politics a little bit too, so we
a little bit.
Wish him the best. He's going to be running for re-election again this year in Carter County, right?
Yep. The 6th district.
He'd like to have your vote. The 6th district. There you go. I'll talk to you in a little while, all right?
All right. Thanks, sir.
Yep. Good man right there. Appreciate him very much. Again, our buddy Randall Jenkins. We're live here again on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Let's take a look at some baseball as promised. We got Bill Robinson, the Milligan men's basketball coach, coming in here in a little while. Carmichael's going to join us. Jeff Birchfield from the Johnson City Press, all going to be here in a little while. And so, free agent Jay Bruce. We talked before the break baseball, a guy that's nailed down. A lot of free agents out there still hanging. We're about a little over a month out to start the spring training pitchers and catchers report on the 13th and 14th of February. Free agent outfielder Jay Bruce returning to the New York Mets on a 3-year, $39 million deal. Bruce spent 153 games with the Mets between 2016 and 17 after the Mets acquired him from Cincinnati. And then he got dealt to the Indians last August for the pennant run. Jay Bruce, 30 years old, hit .254, 29 doubles, 36 home runs, 101 RBIs last season, and a stint with the Mets, 103 games and 43 games we said with the Indians. Bruce finished 10th in the MVP voting of the National League, and in both 2012 and 2013. Came roaring back pretty good numbers for a 30-year-old guy, 29 doubles, 36 long balls, and 101 RBIs last season. So, again, Jay Bruce, 30 years old, signing a 3-year, $39 million deal to stay in New York for the Mets for 2018. Let's take a look at college basketball. The men's top 25 college hoops from last night had a couple of upsets. Number one, you had in college hoops, it was 16th ranked TCU going down in double overtime. Texas got them, beat them 99-98. Longhorns pull off the win. They're now 11-5. Also last night, Louisville goes into Tallahassee and beats the Seminoles of Florida State. 23rd ranked Florida State. Final score 73-69. 4-point differential for the Louisville Cardinals without Rick Pitino. Tonight, men's college basketball. 5th ranked Wichita State plays at East Carolina. 15th ranked Gonzaga home to Portland. Oregon State will travel to 17th ranked Arizona State, who's 12-4. Also tonight, 19th ranked Clemson travels to Raleigh to battle North Carolina State of the ACC. And 11th ranked Arizona State hosting Oregon tonight, 13-2. That one being played at Arizona State. A little close at home in Freedom Hall tonight. East Tennessee State takes on UNC Greensboro. The Bucks have won 6 in a row, 10 out of their last 11. Two front runners in the conference, the men of East Tennessee State and the men of UNC Greensboro. They got swept last year to the Bucks, but in the tournament when it counted, they beat UNC Greensboro, and so they'll play that one tonight. Tip it up tonight at Freedom Hall in Johnson City. So should be a lot of fun. That one's going to be 7 o'clock tip-off tonight. Again, at Freedom Hall in Johnson City, East Tennessee State and UNC Greensboro. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. Coming up, we'll take a look at some National Hockey League and some college football news. More guys stepping away from their college team and proclaiming themselves or declaring themselves, if you will, that they're going pro. And we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later in the show. We'll take a break, come right back. He's going to join us, the head men's basketball coach at Milligan College. If you're looking for a cool place to go on a Saturday when they got a doubleheader, you want to go to Steve Lacey Fieldhouse at Milligan College and check out the Buffs. It was a heck of a game on Saturday, playing a really good basketball team. And so they got beat, but Montree came down to the last shot. Guy threw up a prayer out of the corner, and he got answered. So it was a heck of a ball game. So we'll talk about that. But they had a big win last night on the road for the men's basketball team. Just got back in town. He's got some sleep hanging out of the corner of his eyes because it was a short night for the head basketball coach at Milligan College. We'll talk to him coming up next. Bill Robinson. We're live here at Freddy's in North Johnson City on show number 663 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now, some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Show number 663 tomorrow will be at Food City in Jonesboro on the Food City Friday. Got a big 2-day sale coming up at Food City tomorrow and Saturday. We'll tell you all about that. And of course, some wintry weather coming in. I hate to even say that. You look outside right now, it feels like May and June. I wish it would stay that way, but it's not. So We got some wintry weather rolling in, some rain turning to snow, and back down to the teens next week. But the way I'm looking at it, Coach, every day the sun comes up, getting a little closer to spring and warm weather, because I'm ready for it.
Feels great out there right now.
Yes,
though.
it does. And so Coach came in. You can see on the screen Bill Robinson, Milligan men's basketball coach. Big road game last night. Long trip back home last night in the old, you guys traveling vans?
We took the bus last night with the women, so chartered together.
Yep, riding back. And so tell us, big win last night for the Milligan men's basketball. Crazy game.
Crazy game. Couldn't make a shot first 10 minutes. We scored 2 points in 10 minutes and then scored 88 points in the next 30 minutes. So that's what this game is like, though. It's just college kids, and, you just never know what to expect. So
yeah, and so you're sitting over as a coach, first 10 minutes you get 2 points. I mean, you got Saturday morning, the upper team where Louisville plays gets 2 points in 10 minutes. So you're sitting over there, as a coach, you prepare. Here's your game plan, and there's a lid on the basket. And what do you do as a coach?
We called timeout, and I looked at him. I said, we're getting every shot we want. It's not like they're stopping us. We just can't make shots. Sooner or later, you guys are good enough. You're going to make shots. It's going to happen. May not be enough to make us get back into the game or win the game. Fortunately, last night they made enough shots to get back into it. But just try to stay positive and keep encouraging them and keep running this stuff the way we do and just stay the course. And eventually they start making shots.
She made 2 points in the first 10 minutes, and the rest of the game you made 88.
88.
Well, obviously, somebody got a real hot hand. Who was that?
David Cassidy had 9 threes last night, had career high 34 points. Daxton Boston, our point guard, had 3 points at halftime. Just challenge them. You want to be the best point guard in the league. You have to play better than that. You can't just score 3 points in a half. He scored 19 points in the second half, so he took my challenge, and we made free throws down the stretch. We're 16 for 20 for the game, and had a big win on the road.
Talking to Bill Robinson's here on the screen, the head basketball coach at Milligan College. Went over and watched them play Saturday. Got to tell you, it's a great atmosphere. I love going over there. It's just like, I don't know, it sounds cheesy, but for me, it's like a little slice of Americana. You got some halftime promotions with Johnson City Honda and Chick-fil-A doing some different things, and there's great basketball, and it's, I don't know. I'm sitting over there watching the game today, trying to think, okay, when I have you on Thursday, how am I going to describe a Milligan basketball game? Cozy, does that sound right?
It is. It's very family oriented.
Family oriented. There you go.
People have a good time and enjoy just sitting around watching some basketball.
The men's team, I'll throw out some guys' names. Of course, you mentioned David Cassidy from Sullivan East. Who's zero?
Aaron Lavardi. Yep.
He can jump. That guy can play. I like the kid coming off the bench Saturday, Buckner. He gave you some good minutes and got some big shots in around the basket. And you lose a heartbreaker to Montreat, but they were the number 1 team in the conference. But you had them on the ropes, didn't you?
We really did, and played as well as we could right now. And very proud of them. And our post-game talk was that. Proud of you guys. Let's pray and get out of there. We just no need to talk about it anymore. We haven't watched that film. We probably won't watch that film. I think we'll go to watching last night's film today, and we just got to keep moving on. We played on the road again at St. Andrews this weekend, and it's just that time of year. You just don't have a whole lot of time to look back. You got to keep pushing forward.
I like Big 13 too. What was that? Big Will Robinson, Brutus. He was chugging up and down the court too. He got the big beard and the big old burly fella. Of course, that's Coach's son, but he gives you 120%, and it's just a really good atmosphere. And this team's coming. You struggled early. You had a pretty tough non-conference schedule early, but last night I guess I'm putting words in your mouth, but last night I would think on the road at Truett McConnell, huge win for your program.
Well, huge win. We're 5-5 in conference. They were 5-4. We were 4-5. So not only do you push even record with them, but we have 2 wins against them, have the tiebreaker. So essentially, this time of year, you win, you move up; you lose, you move down. This year also, we only have top 8 teams go to the conference tournament. So every win is big, especially getting win on the road is huge.
We're talking to Bill Robinson, Milligan's men's basketball coach. So not only is he getting ready for more games coming up this week, but you're also out on the recruiting trail right now. So it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yep, and it's Tuesday. The whole reason we moved the schedule to Wednesday, Saturday in our league is so we can get out on Tuesday and Friday. And this past Tuesday I was over in Statesville, North Carolina. We got a kid over there we really like, big 6'8" kid. And actually this Friday we're going to be on the road going down to St. Andrews, so we'll miss a night. But we do have some local kids we really like, and it's just that time of year where it's every night. So actually have a date with my wife tonight because I haven't seen her since Sunday, and that's not much of an exaggeration really. But so we'll do some dinner after practice tonight. But it's just that's just the way this life is at this time of year.
It's the nature of the beast. Let me go ahead and put in a plug. It's a ways off, but it'll be here before you know it. If you're looking for a basketball camp this summer, this guy puts on a phenomenal camp. Of course, we did shows from out there last year. We plan to do that again this year, but the Milligan basketball camp is awesome. I mean, my little ones, they still talk about it. They wear the T-shirts. They get a T-shirt and a basketball during camp, and they still talk about it. And, of course, the cool thing about what you all do at that camp is the counselors of the kids, as it is in most places. But the other night, we're sitting there watching the game. Your daughter and Andy Lamb came up. Two of the kids on the girls' team, the Lady Buffalo team, that were camp counselors, come right up to my guys and start talking to them, and it's like it just fits. It's building relationships.
It's just like any other organization.
Yeah.
You have great staff. It makes your camp. It makes your organization be successful. So we get great counselors. Our camp has grown, and actually just got an invitation to go to China to maybe do a basketball camp in China this fall. It's kind of scary. It's kind of exciting at the same time, but still waiting on details on that. But it may be 2 weeks in August, right before school starts, to go over. I'm not going by myself, so I got to find a couple people that'd be willing to go with me to do that. But just to have the invitation is humbling, and it's just exciting to be able to spread not just the basketball, but to spread the good word, good news of Jesus Christ as well.
Amen, brother. Preach it. I know the baseball coach, Coach Meade's been to Taiwan doing some goodwill over there. Milligan baseball coach teaching baseball and just kind of interacting and doing some workshops over there with baseball. So you may have a chance to go to China and do basketball.
Yeah, and it's actually the same organization, same guys. They're having a hard time getting Taiwanese kids maybe to get visas to come to the U.S., but it's very easy to get visas to go to China. So the talk about being able to do something there, and it's pretty exciting.
Looking down the road, we're talking to Coach Robinson. Are you at the halfway point or past the halfway point of the season?
Just past the halfway point of the conference season, so we're already past the halfway for the whole year. But St. Andrews, we haven't played them yet. We played Truett twice, so this is kind of the midpoint right now. And that part of the reason is Truett's a little bit closer, and St. Andrews a long trip, so we scheduled for the weekend. But yeah, we're halfway through the conference season, 10 games through, play 20 games, so we only play 4 more away games, and this weekend's the only long one. So I feel like we position ourselves in a really, really good spot right now, and the guys are very positive, especially after last night, and we want to just build on that momentum.
So a lot of home games down the stretch, right?
A lot of home games down the stretch.
Now, who makes up the schedules? The computer? The coaches sit down and swap it out? Or
it's kind of a combination. They have a matrix they put together for the conference, and then we do our non-conference schedule. And a couple of the non-conference schools that we played early, Johnson and Warren Wilson, on the road we play home late. We use them to fill the gaps of the all-women schools that our women play. So it just works out well that way.
So you're halfway through the conference schedule. So grade your team right now: A, B, C, or D.
Considering we lost our 2 best players to season-ending injuries, I mean, they're playing about as well as we possibly can play right now, and they're overcoming. We have kids playing that, honestly, we didn't think would play very much, and they're not only just rotation guys. We got, even like Will, we just never expected him to have the impact and have to play. We thought he'd be in the rotation. We never thought he would start, and now he's playing close to 20 minutes a game, and his impact is not on the stat sheet. It's just what he does for us, and it's been very rewarding, and this is a very special team. I really like. I mean, I'll tell you what happened. We called timeout last night after we made the run and got back into it. I called timeout, looked at them, and I said, I tell my team every year I love them, but I love this team more than I've loved the team in a long time, just because of the character, how much they love each other, they care about each other, and they just play hard. And they're not the most talented, but they just never give up, and it just shows what a special group of kids this is.
And it pays off.
Does.
What John Wooden said, rather have, let's see if I can get this right, rather have a guy with 98% enthusiasm, 2% talent than the other way around, because he can make him a ball player. And so these guys have the enthusiasm for the game, right?
Yeah, they really do. And I mean, if we had to grade them, I'd probably have them close to an A right now, because I'm not sure we can play a whole lot better than we have.
2 guys you lose were who on the season-ending injuries?
We lost Jacob Kaywood and Tyler Nichols. Both were all conference last year as sophomores. Part of the slow start that we had is you build based on the personnel that you have, and then all of a sudden you lose your 2 starters and 2 really important players that you kind of planned on being there. It changed everything we did. So now that we kind of caught on to more of what we were doing, that's when this success has come. But Jacob's got a little issue, and I shouldn't say a little issue. He's got a heart issue, and he's having passing out episodes, and we're really not sure what's going on. Doctors don't know what's going on. So it's best that he sits right now until we can figure it out. He's on medication, and the medication seems to be working. But at the same time, we're hopeful that he will be back in a year, next year. But for this year, he'd definitely be out. Tyler Nichols up at Bluefield went down the lane very first possession. He was in, laid it in, fell, broke an ankle, tore ligaments. Doesn't look like he'll need surgery, but he's probably another 3 months out from really being able to do anything. So you lose two guys who are, I guess one was our second leading scorer, one was our fourth leading scorer, and two really important parts. It's just taken us a little while to figure out who we are, our new identity.
Before I let you go, we always kind of step back and take a look at college basketball as a whole right now, and what do you think so far? They're not quite the halfway point of their season. Well, I guess some of them are. Some of the teams are. What are you seeing right now? Is Villanova the best in the land?
It's funny because Villanova didn't have the greatest recruiting class in the land, but yet Jay Wright does an unbelievable job. He's just such a great coach, and I've had a chance to meet him a couple times, get to know him, and he's genuinely the nicest guy in college basketball. He's just a super guy. He'd come down and sit right down, and he'd buy you lunch and just want to talk. I think they're really good. It's hard to say that they're the best. I still think Duke is going to get better. Michigan State looks awfully good. They got tested last night against Rutgers in overtime games.
They did.
I think the college basketball landscape now is becoming more and more even, and anybody can beat anybody on a given night. Texas obviously had a huge win last night. Happy for Michael Morrell and the staff down there, especially after having one of the kids just got diagnosed with leukemia yesterday. So to have a big emotional win on that day, I felt really good for Shaka and his staff.
Of course, back home, the Mountaineers of West Virginia, they're riding high. They're ranked second in the country. It's a lofty perch. Are they dubious of that honor? Should they be there?
Bob Huggins is an awesome coach, and he does an unbelievable job. This, in my opinion, with West Virginia has been coming. He's just been building slowly. It hasn't been this huge, rise to the top. He's just been, this is who he is. This is what they're going to do. He's been getting the guys in that he wants to fit into his system. They're really good, and defensively, they're the type of team that could make a deep run just because they're so good defensively. On those nights like we did last night, you don't shoot the ball well. You gotta defend to be able to keep it getting, and they defend. And I think he's got them right where he wants them to be.
All right, last question. You're getting ready to go to March Madness. Give me 5 teams if you start it today. March Madness, of course, about a month and a half off here, but if you had to roll into March Madness, give me the 5 teams right now. Keep an eye on to win the national championship.
Of course, I love Carolina, and I still think their new guys, especially their big guys, are still developing. But I never count them out.
Okay, here's one.
I think Villanova has a legit shot just because Jalen Brunson's a leader, and he's going to keep them in games by himself. He's just a leader. Doesn't have to score a bunch, but he's going to keep them all together. I like West Virginia's shot just because of where they are right now and what he's doing. My dark horse is Arizona State, and I know that they've been up and down and all around. Bobby Hurley I think he's the next great coach. I think he will be the next coach at Duke, and I think they've got a legit shot of getting back to the top.
They got Oregon tonight, so you said Arizona State?
Arizona State.
Yeah, 11th ranked. They've got Oregon tonight. Wichita State tonight plays at ECU. Wichita State, the Shockers are 5th. Gonzaga hosting Portland. 17th ranked Arizona hosting Oregon State, 19th ranked Clemson at NC State, and 11th ranked Arizona State hosting Oregon tonight at men's top 25.
We're going to get a chance to see Miami this year. Miami at Carolina in February, taking our team down. The JV team will play before, and then Miami's really good too. And sometimes we'll be able to see those teams in person. Our locker room will be right next to Miami's locker room. Our JV team will be walking back after our game. Miami will be walking right out. It's good for our kids to be able to see. Those guys are the same age, but they're totally different. We were not all created equal, and it's good for our guys to be able to see that, and also great to see competition like that in person.
There you go. Bill Robinson, the Milligan men's basketball coach, stopping by here, Coach. Always a treat. You're a great coach. You're an even better man, better father, and I love what you do at those camps because he always has a devotion. In fact, we recorded some of them back in the summer and live streamed them, put them out there for people to see on Facebook. But he always has a devotion. He's walking for the Lord and living for the Lord, and it shows. And your kids they buy into that because to play at Milligan, you got to be a special kid, right?
It's a different type of kid. We're looking for kids, obviously, who want to be at a Christian college that can make it academically, and it's tough. And then win basketball games is obviously important too. We want to do that, but we're more focused on those first two things. And basketball comes third.
Brag on your daughter. You better brag on your daughter as a dad, or she'll scout both of us if she may not, but Mama would.
She had a tough semester academically. First semester, she's an engineering major, and it took a lot out of her by the time the season started. This semester, she gets basketball started first before the books, and she's been playing really, really well. And again, she's totally different than I was. She's defense and rebound, and she can score, but she loves to be able to make a great pass. She loves to be able to get a block and get a rebound and start the break. So it's been just have all three of my kids at Milligan right now is just a huge blessing.
Yep. The other one's a team photographer, Rachel, and then of course Sarah plays on the Lady Buffs team, and Brutus Will, right off of Popeye, looks just like Brutus. Brutus, Will Robinson, great kid, one of the starters for Coach's team. Last question, I promise. So you go get something to eat. When's the next home game we come watch Milligan play?
Next home game is Tuesday, January 16th at Bluefield, against Bluefield. We had them at their place, had a lead, and that's when Tyler got hurt, and we just kind of fell apart down the stretch. And our guys remember that. They're excited. They're anticipating that matchup at our place, and again, they're third or fourth in the league right now. So we're looking forward to getting back home against some of those top teams in our league.
Yep, a lot of home games down the stretch. Tournaments played at Meadowview in Kingsport, right?
Meadowview, yep.
So it's a chance to not only watch them at home, but when the tournament comes, late February, you get a chance to see Milligan if you want to. I hope you do. Go. They take Meadowview, the big ballroom, convert it into a basketball arena, which is a pretty cool setting, and they have the tournament right there at Meadowview in Kingsport. So if you want to watch Milligan basketball, you don't have to go very far to either Steve Lacey Fieldhouse on campus or the tournament at Meadowview. Coach, get you something to eat. You hungry? You look hungry.
I am. Thank you.
Do you look hungry?
I'm hungry. I don't know if I look hungry.
You are hungry. Yeah. All right, quick break. We'll be right back. Thanks again to Bill Robinson, the men's basketball coach at Milligan College. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We'll take a look at some NASCAR news. Also, Carmichael joins us coming up here in a few minutes. Also, the NBA from last night and the National Hockey League. And some local high school sports as well. All that next year on show number 663 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue. Do you like pulled pork? At Phil's, the pulled pork is cooked low and slow. We cook it all night, but we serve it fast. Our pulled pork is hickory smoked, tender and juicy. We serve the pork either as a sandwich on a bun or platter style with garlic toast. And don't forget to try our pork wings. They taste like a cross between ham and our sweet ribs. It comes as a meal, as an add-on, or part of our meat sampler platters. Pulled pork and pork wings. Just two great reasons to stop by Phil's Dream Pit. Eastern Star exit off I-26, 349-6437. Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here at the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and done. We're your one-and-done location for all your insurance needs: auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one-and-done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show again. Thanks, Coach Robinson. Appreciate you stopping by, my friend. Great job. Love the guy. He's a class act, I'm telling you. And Milligan's lucky to have him. He does a great job, and we're just a big fan of Bill Robinson, no question. Let's take a look at the NBA from last night. Let's see, one upset. It was the last game played out on the left coast, but it was a big win. Jeremy Livesey sat right here yesterday and said L.A. Clippers will give them a game. Well, they did. They beat Golden State last night. The defending world champions got them in Golden State by a 125-106 final, 19-point win for the Clippers. Big win. They're now 19-21. Golden State falls to 33-9 on the season. Other winners last night: Utah wins by 3 at Washington. Miami, the Heat, goes into Indiana and beats them by 8. Dallas, road win at Charlotte by 4. Chicago, the Bulls, go into New York, beat the Knickerbockers by 3. Detroit goes into Brooklyn and blows them out, beat them by 34 last night to pick up their 23rd win of the season for the Pistons. Also last night, Minnesota at home beat Oklahoma City. A pretty good matchup there, a couple of 20-win teams. Minnesota beat them by 16. Milwaukee, a home win over Orlando by 7. The Rockets against Portland. Houston now 30-11 on the season. Houston wins by 9. Again, 121-112 over Portland, who falls to 22-20 on the season. Memphis, the Grizzlies, a 3-point win at home over New Orleans. And the Atlanta Hawks, who I said would get blown out last night in Denver. What do I know? They only have won just their 12th win of the season against 30 defeats. Well, the Hawks go into Denver and beat the Nuggets 110-97 last night in the NBA. Coming up tonight, a short schedule, light schedule tonight. Celtics in Philadelphia, the battle of the 76ers. Celtics at 33-10 on the season. LeBron and the boys will be in Toronto. Big game, big matchup on TNT tonight. Cleveland at 26-13 in Toronto to battle the Raptors at 27-10. Clippers at Sacramento tonight, and my boys, the San Antonio Spurs, in LA to battle the Lakers. Spurs at 27-14. The Lakers, with that win last night, Lakers improved to, what I say? Or not the Lakers, but the Clippers won last night. So the Lakers is what I'm talking about, my bad. Lakers are 11-27, hosting the Spurs tonight in LA. On the National Hockey League from last night, 2 on the ice. It was Ottawa picking up their 15th win, skating past Toronto 4-3. And Minnesota goes into Chicago and skates past the Blackhawks 2-1. And so Minnesota now 23-17 on the season. Chicago falls to 20-16. 3 tonight on the ice. Columbus and Buffalo to skate against the Sabres. Columbus, one of the better teams in the National Hockey League, at 24-16, skating in Buffalo. Buffalo's only 10 wins on the season. Carolina in Washington against the 26-win Capitals. And Calgary with 21 wins under their belt, playing the best in the National Hockey League. They'll go to Tampa Bay to play the Lightning tonight. Calgary at 21-16, Tampa Bay at 30-9, and that's your National Hockey League and your NBA schedule for tonight on this Thursday, January the 11th, 2018. Tom Taylor Sports Show, thanks for being with us. Coming up on Saturday, we're going to be live at Sprint Store here in Johnson City on on North Roan Street here in Johnson City, Tennessee. Sprint says thanks. Got some great deals going on coming up on Saturday and Saturday only. Sprint will buy out your current contract with your current carrier to switch you over. $300 off iPhone 8, an 8 Plus, or an iPhone X with an eligible trade-in. By the way, got a brand new, let's see if I make this thing, I'm learning it. There we go. Here we go. Got a brand new pad, LG pad from Sprint. Love it. Don't really know what I'm doing with it. I'm learning it, but I love it. Also, got a brand new phone. How about this? Check this out. Got the new phone. Got that from Sprint. It's a Edge, LS7 Edge, I think is what it's called. I don't know. Galaxy 7 Edge. I don't know. All I know is I got it, and it's nice, and it works really good, and I like it. Also at Sprint coming up, you get $300 off an iPhone 8, 8 Plus, or an iPhone X with an eligible trade-in. Also 90 days, same as cash on accessories. No interest for 90 days on accessory purchase at Sprint coming up on Saturday. Also, if you're a member of a credit union members can get reimbursed for accessory sales up to $100 per line for being a member of a credit union and a Sprint customer at the same time. That's a great deal. And so if you're a member of a credit union, you need to consider that. Also, you get half off any Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or Note 8 for new activation. So good stuff going on at Sprint. We'll be there broadcasting live on Saturday from 2 to 4 at the Sprint store, again on Roan Street here in North Johnson City. Tomorrow, we're going to be live at Food City in Jonesboro. There's the big 2-day savings event tomorrow and Saturday at all Food City locations. Campbell's Chunky Soup, 99 cents a can. They can't beat that. Boneless pork loin, $1.49 a pound. You've got also coming up on Friday and Saturday, Chef Boyardee pasta, limit 6, 69 cents a can. You've got Food Club large eggs, a dozen of grade A white large eggs, a dozen. Limit 2 per person, 99 cents a dozen. Peter Pan peanut butter, some of the things going on. We'll talk more about it, of course, tomorrow, but we'll be there live at Food City in Jonesboro. Mayfield ice cream's on sale tomorrow. Kern's donuts, Scott paper towels or bath tissue. What else? Hot Pockets, good for this time of the year. Hot Pockets going to be on sale tomorrow and Saturday at all Food City locations across the region. So, again, we are excited about that. We're here today live. We're typically at Champion Chevrolet. We'll be back there next Thursday broadcasting live. Tomorrow, Food City in Jonesboro. Monday will be at Max Medicine Mart in Kingsport. Tuesday will be at Phil's Dream Pit. The Quest for Perfect Barbecue will be there on Tuesday. Wednesday of next week will be at Chick-fil-A. Next Thursday will be at Champion Chevrolet, as we told you. And next Friday a week, will be at Food City in Gray with our buddy Big Daddy Dale Hammett will be there next Friday broadcasting live. And again, tomorrow will be at Food City in Jonesboro. There it is, the Give Back fundraiser, Freddy's Give Back fundraiser, how you can, again, come in here, give back. Groups receiving a donation of 15% of the sales they bring to the designated store during predetermined hours. All you got to do is fill out this form, spread the word, come eat at Freddy's, and they do the rest. And they'll give you 15% of the portion of the sales. And so, who is eligible? I love this. Public or private school clubs, college campus groups, parent-teacher associations, booster clubs, sports teams, student councils, churches, religious groups, boys and Girl Scouts. Any other charitable organization is eligible to raise money at Freddy's. And you get 15% of the proceeds. You can't beat it. You don't do any work. You just come in here, hand out the vouchers. Actually, they hand out the vouchers. And then at the end of the night, your organization makes 15%. And I know that Randall has told me that he's passed out checks as a result of $500, $600, $700, $800 for one night. That's not bad. I think it beats doing a car wash, doesn't it? So, in other ways that people typically raise money. So consider a Give Back fundraiser with Freddy's here in North Johnson City on State of Franklin, right in front of Food City. We're live again at Freddy's. Going to be with you until 1 o'clock. Coming up, take a look at the National Football League. Also, the big ball game coming up tonight at Freedom Hall, Johnson City. College basketball with the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State. We'll take a look at that. Also, Carmichael due to join us. All that straight ahead here on show number 663. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're live at Freddy's on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the things that owner Tim Smith is most proud of is their hard-earned certifications.
We are an ASE Blue Seal shop, which is important because what it tells the customer is we care enough to get certified, not in one certain area of cars. You have to be certified in 8 different certifications and 8 different tests you have to take, and you have to be updated on them yearly to make sure that you're up to date. We not only have one of those, we have 3 ASE master technicians here. With the ratio, it goes into a ratio, and we're a Blue Seal shop, so it tells you that we care about training and we care about knowing about your car. We want to help fix it right.
American Import and Auto Repair, West Market Street, Johnson City, home of the free loaner car program. Open 6 days a week. Call today, 913-3111.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitat, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for moving the show number 663. Tomorrow we'll be at Food City in Jonesboro, and let's get him on the mic and on the screen. He's here to talk a little sports. Just sit down in the hot seat. My man Carmichael. Coming up, Jeff Birchfield joins us from the Johnson City Press a little bit later on here in the show. Good afternoon, my good friend. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Just a little traffic snafu on the Bristol Highway. Somebody, as I call it, A.J. Allmendinger, a tractor. Well, I can't think of David. What's David Reagan?
David Reagan. Yeah.
Or somebody.
Reagan Smith.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah. A tractor trailer on the Bristol Highway. So
that fan base probably is not appreciative of the fact you're making fun of them. David Reagan and Reagan Smith. And
I know you have a show with a huge audience, but I don't know if those drivers even have a fan base. And if their fan base is, it's probably close. It's probably very close friends and relatives.
There you go.
It's,
kinfolk.
Yeah.
There you go. We're talking to Carmichael. He's going to stop me. He has stopped by. We appreciate that. We're here at Freddy's. So, speaking of NASCAR, we got a hot couple. Apparently, Danica Patrick and Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, have become a hot item. And it's been kind of tabloid talk. What do you think?
Well, she threw little Ricky to the
curb.
Was getting out of, yeah. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers is what, like 6'1", 6'2", and little Ricky's like little Ricky could be on the WWE. I want to say Little People tour, maybe.
They've been seen out and about, and apparently they are kind of tangled up. They're real tight and cozy. So Aaron Rodgers, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, apparently courting pretty heavily Danica Patrick. So, and there's a lot of money between those two.
Well, yeah, and he had a lot. The other one, Olivia Nunn, was an actress that he dumped, and now or dumped him, and now Danica at the end of her career, she's trying a new career change. She's moving from driving and little Ricky to Aaron Rodgers in football.
There you go. You may see her as a cheesehead at Lambeau Field. But anyway, that's one of the stories in NASCAR. We'll get into some of that a little bit later on Birchfield. Carmichael's in the house with us. Let's start with, let's start with the college football game. How about that? Alabama and Georgia. What do you think? What was your take? What do you take away from that game?
You know, one thing, when you've won 5 or 6 now national championships, I guess, as Nick Saban, that gives you the, the cash or the thing in the security that you can pull your 2-year starting quarterback at halftime of the national championship game and put a freshman who's not played hardly any in. But they said that the kid, the freshman, had practiced, worked with the first team last week a lot during practice. So Nick probably had some idea that he may have to make the change midway through the game.
Now, everybody says it was a great coaching move, and it came out that way, but this guy could have gone out there and laid an egg, too.
Oh, well, number one, he could have laid an egg. Number two, Nick almost cost his team the game at the end of the regulation. I mean, they played for the field goal. The kicker had already missed one kick, and he just played for the field. And it's like, you're playing not to win. They had the chances. I think he really wanted to take a shot, maybe. I think that's why he got mad at the kid. You know, he put Jalen back in for that, to go run there and kneel down and then call timeout. And I think he was upset because I think he wanted to take a shot, which that's what I kept saying the whole time. Why didn't you, when you were running, Georgia's now come up on the line, they're sneaking up. You do that little fake kneel and little pass up over the top, and you catch him for a touchdown instead of trying to put all the pressure on the kicker.
We're talking to Carmichael. So, all right, the Georgia faithful are saying Jim Chaney went in attack in the second half. The offensive coordinator got too conservative, played not to lose. The Alabama people said it was an excellent move by Nick Saban to do what he did. So, taking a step back and looking at it as a whole, who's right and who's wrong in that assumption?
Jim Chaney did play not to lose. I mean, they made the one pass. Saban made a move that worked out. Chaney made a move. He thought, he kept thinking, well, especially after they got that touchdown, he thought 20 points was going to be enough to win, but it wasn't. And you got to give Alabama's defense a lot. You got to give Jeremy Pruitt a lot of credit too. They went at, when Georgia tried to run the ball in the third and fourth quarters, they really came after them on defense. I mean, that's, you say what you want, but Alabama's defense stopped Georgia's run in the second half.
I'm sitting there watching the game. I thought the guy that's smiling like a Cheshire cat tonight is Philip Fulmer, because he went and got Jeremy Pruitt. And this guy obviously can coach a defense. I mean, they shut down a very good Georgia defense in the second half. Chaney called some of it, but Jeremy Pruitt made some adjustments at halftime. And so this guy's coming to K-Town. I'm going to rattle off his coaching staff he's put together here, but I would think Fulmer's summer was beaming with pride, thinking this guy's going to be wearing orange in 24 hours, and he is. He had a press conference yesterday, and if Tennessee leaves him alone, Carmichael, I think this guy's got. It can be big time for Tennessee football.
And I think you'll see it this year. I really think, and I haven't looked at Tennessee's complete schedule other than I know they open up with West Virginia. But I look at Tennessee 7-8 wins next year. I think they can finish at least third in the East. I think behind Georgia and Florida.
Here's his defensive coordinator for Tennessee. Georgia outside linebacker coach Kevin Shear leaving Georgia, coming to Tennessee. Let me run down the rest of them. Former Florida defensive line coach Chris Rump coming. Former Florida State defensive coordinator Charles Kelly. Former Colorado State assistant Terry Fair, plus Tracy Rocker. That's on your defense. Offensive staff, former Southern California passing game coordinator Tyson Helton. Former Colorado State offensive coordinator Will Friend. Former Alabama support staffer Brian Niedermeyer, as well as Robert Gillespie, a holdover from Butch Jones' staff, and there's still some more he's going to put together. These guys, none of these are flashy names, but this guy's been around long enough. He knows coaches, and I think he's putting together a pretty solid staff.
Well, Gillespie was the one coach I would have kept on Jones' staff, and he was the one coach. Running backs was a position that did well. He was a really good recruiter. The Helton kid is the brother or son of Helton, Clay Helton, the head coach at USC. Charles Kelly replaced Jeremy Pruitt as defensive coordinator at Florida State. was defensive coordinator on the Florida State team that made it the last 3 years. Terry Fair and Tracy Rocker, they're probably pretty decent coaches, but definitely the pedigree is there because they were outstanding players.
Well, the other part of this thing, too, is he has been involved now in 5 national championship teams, Jeremy Pruitt. So he knows Florida State staff, Alabama now 3 times, Florida State, and who was the other one? Oh, gosh.
It's been Alabama.
Alabama and Florida State.
Florida State, and the rest of them, the other 4, Alabama.
Yeah, Pruitt, 5th time he's been associated with the national championship team. Pruitt also was Florida State's defensive coordinator in 13, on Alabama staff on 09, 11, 12, and now this year. So what I like is, we've talked about this before. You and I, we've been around sports long enough. Winning's contagious. Losing's contagious. This guy knows how to win. He's, again, I keep going back. I've said this all along. If you Tennessee fans will let the guy get in there and get set up and don't go crazy, and if he loses a couple games and start pulling the panic button, let him get in there and let him get it rock solid. This guy's going to build a program because he knows how to win. He's been around Nick Saban. He's been around Jimbo Fisher. These guys are 2 of the top of the game, Carmichael. It all just kind of comes together. This can be a really good thing for Tennessee.
He's not going to lose games they should win. That, I think, will be the key.
That's a great point.
You may lose games to an Alabama or a Georgia or a Florida early, but, those may be expected because of the talent base they've got right now. But you're not going to lose, I don't think, to a Vandy. You're not going to get beat by Kentucky. I think he's going to be able to beat a Vandy of Kentucky, a Missouri, who made you talk about head-scratching hires.
Derek Dooley.
They hired Des Bryant's former chauffeur, Derek Dooley, to be the offensive coordinator there.
Yeah.
Wow. That's one of those, really?
So it looked like to me Dooley just grabbed the first thing out of town because he got done with the Cowboys, but he is going to be there. So, all right, Nick Saban, spring football practice. Does he have a quarterback controversy or not? Has he got his man?
I think he's got his quarterback. I think that, what really struck me Monday night, too, was the class that Hurts showed after the game. During the game, it showed that, let's look at the first game of the season and one of the first games of the season in Georgia Dome and one of the last games. When you watch if you watch the Tennessee-Georgia Tech game, those 2 quarterbacks at Tennessee, one sat one place, one sat the other. Neither one of them looked like they were trying to help the other, being encouraging the other. Fast forward to January. Hurts could have went over there and just sat and moped and went berserk like the linebacker did and everything, but he didn't. He was always encouraging. Every time they showed the camera and showed him, he was encouraging. He was encouraging Tua. I think that's his name, Tua, the quarterback. Mm-hmm. He was encouraging him. And the way he spoke after the game, it's like, if the kid decides he does want to transfer, you saw a lot of class and it just shows you what kind of player that he's got.
Well, as a journalist, let me say this. As a guy that sits on this side of the microphone, I would have never, ever, ever went up and stuck a microphone in Jalen Hurts' face. Never.
And Tom Rinaldi had the...
Why would you do that? I mean, put yourself in this guy's shoes. He's the quarterback for Alabama. He has a terrible first half. He gets pulled. The guy takes his place, leads him to a national championship. I mean, put yourself in Jalen Hurts' shoes.
And he's a kid. He's not getting paid 7 figures to play quarterback.
When I saw the interview, I said, no, that's terribly unfair.
But it ended up being like...
He handled class.
He handled that with, I'm not an Alabama person, but that was about as classy of handling of a situation as you could possibly...
And Saban, to his credit in the post-game press conference, said, hey, look, Tua's the guy we're talking about tonight, but the guy that got us here to this point is Jalen Hurts. And so he praised him too. He said, we wouldn't have been in this championship if it hadn't been for Jalen Hurts. So I thought it was all, I thought it was really cool, but I would have never, ever went over and stuck a microphone in Jalen Hurts' face. I wouldn't have anyways, but I guess that's just me, because that's just a tough spot for anybody being, especially a 19-year-old kid. So,
but you could see two of the four teams.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great day.
Two of the 4 teams in the national championship Final Four changing quarterbacks from this season, and both of them still be on Hurts. You may have the change there, and at Clemson with Kelly, you may have the change there. They're bringing in a freshman with a big arm that's the best throwing quarterback in the country this year.
Easton's transferring from Georgia, going back apparently to Washington, where he's from. He wants to transfer to play for the Huskies. So I don't get that. I don't understand when something like this. So I'm just going to take my ball and go. And yes, Jake Fromm is the man, obviously, but
Jake Fromm may not even be the long-term answer at Georgia. They are bringing it. There's another quarterback.
Absolutely.
Coming in. So that's why Easton's thinking, you know what? I'm now went from number 2. I'm probably going to be number 3. And why not go somewhere and try to play my last couple of years of.
But as you know, you're one play away from being done, and so we've seen it time and time again. But yes, numbers-wise, he's going to be stacked up because Kirby Smart went out and got 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the early signing period. He got the number 1 quarterback coming to Georgia, so they're loaded. So Easton says, "I see the handwriting on the wall, and I'm going to boogie on out of here." So right now, it's way early, obviously, but if you had to look at the top 3 teams going into 18, Alabama, Georgia.
I think still Alabama. I think maybe Georgia. Look at Ohio State. Possibility of being back there. I still keep looking at a team like Washington. To me, that is making this, way early. I like a team like Washington, and I like a team like Notre Dame. Possibly. Notre Dame is not losing a whole lot. And look at maybe Notre Dame making a run next year. And Clemson. And Clemson's one of those teams now, it's just almost like it's like a plug and play.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they're there every year.
What about Oklahoma or Wisconsin? Wisconsin's got their whole offense back this year.
Yeah, Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, it's going to be a different kind of offense. I mean, they lose Mayfield, but they're bringing the kid in from Texas A&M, Murray, and you could see Murray. You can see the difference when you watch Murray play in the game that Mayfield was benched, and at the second half of a couple of games, the Kansas game where they sat Mayfield down early, and Murray is more of a runner. He throws the ball well, but he's more of a get out on the corner and take off type player, more of a speedy quarterback.
We're talking to Carmichael. We're live here at Freddy's in North Johnson City tomorrow. Food City in Jonesboro will be there. Closer to home, we really haven't talked a whole lot about this because we've been so caught up in the national championship, but East Tennessee State picks Randy Sanders, and he's hit the ground running, and I think that was a good move until proven otherwise. I think Sanders is a nice fit for East Tennessee State. What do you think?
I hope he's a nice fit. I was really, I don't know if there was any talk to George Quarles, who's at Furman, but I know this right after the ETSU. When the coaching change happened out there, Quarles went from like quarterbacks coach, head recruiter to offensive coordinator at Furman. So I don't know if that was a move to keep him maybe in-house this year. I do know that Coach Ayers resigned at retired at Wofford, and but I just like we'll just see. To me, it's a wait and see.
We're talking to Carmichael, talking a little sports, baseball. Jay Bruce signs. Goes back to the New York Mets, 3 years, $39 million for a 30-year-old guy who hit .256, 36 homers, 101 RBIs last year between the Mets and the Indians. Good move for New York. Good move for Jay Bruce.
Yeah, good move for Jay Bruce. And it could have been one of these where it was the only move, and it's a 3-year deal. Clubs now are not going to give it, especially if you're a player that's hit that magic age of 30, maybe. They're not going to give you 5 and 7, especially hitters 5, 7, 10 years. The days of the Albert Pujols 10-year deals, they're gone. They're not going to give offensive players, especially older players, that. And I think that was a good move. I don't think Bruce was going to get much more term anywhere else on the market.
Pitchers and catchers report in about a month for Major League Baseball. I'm going to give you 5 free agents. Tell me where you think they're going to land. Jake Arrieta.
I think Jake Arrieta ends up going back to Chicago.
Yu Darvish.
Minnesota.
Okay. J.D. Martinez.
I keep, until proven otherwise, I think it's going to be Boston. I think that the term, that's where it's right now. The whole thing with J.D. Martinez is term. I think he wants 7 years, and I think Boston doesn't want to go more than 5 on him.
Eric Hosmer.
He's going to stay in the state of Missouri, but I believe it's going to be Kansas. I think it's going to be Kansas City because I believe Kansas City's going to be eventually bidding against themselves. They've offered him 7, or reportedly offered him 7. He better hop on that.
Mike Moustakas.
I think I could see that one back in Kansas City as well on a shorter deal. These guys are not going to get they came out thinking, well, we're going to get these 7-8 year deals. Well, clubs are not. The analytics now tell you offensive players don't give them these long, and even some pitchers don't give them these long-term deals. Short-term deals will give you a little bit more money to sign, but we're not going to give you the years you want.
Orioles can't decide what to do with Manny Machado. They're talking about giving him. To me, it's incomprehensible to send somebody of his talent to a team in your division, but the Yankees are courting him. I know they're waving a lot of money at him, but if I'm the Orioles, I'm thinking, see, in divisional play, you'll see each other how many times?
19 times
18,
now.
I was going to say 20. Okay, so you're going to see a team 18, 19 times, and he's been your hot rod, and you're going to send him over there to the opposing team, so you figure 19 times a year he's going to hurt you. Why would the Orioles consider sending him to the Yankees?
I don't think Peter Angelo's the owner of the Orioles, and his son. I don't think they want to trade him to New York. Okay. I think they would prefer to trade him out of the division if they can. New York makes sense because they've got the money. There's also been talk that he might even go to St. Louis. I think if they can get a package together with some young players, especially some pitchers, that they might make the deal. They've got to, next year the Yankees, all these clubs they're not wanting to get the luxury tax hit them, because they want to be able to go out in next year's market, especially when it's going to be Bryce Harper, and go out and have the money to be able to sign a player like that.
And we'll talk college basketball in a second. We'll let Carmichael catch his breath. I want to remind you again, if you have a little person, Freddy's offers a super reader program. Now, my little person does this. They've been in here twice. You read 5 books, which I love it. You read 5 books, you get a free mini Sunday. And so Freddy's is reaching out to a lot of schools here locally, primarily elementary schools. Middle schools do too. It's a free single-topping mini Sunday. It's a super reader program, so you want to stop by here and find out more about this. It's pretty basic. You read 5 books on your own, or have mom or dad read them to you, write them down on the back, bring them in here, you sign it, the teacher signs it, and boom, they get a free mini Sunday at Freddy's. So that's the super reader program. It's going great guns, and I know Randall, the store manager, is really out beating the bushes getting this involved, because as we know, the advantage of a kid being able to read, it just opens up the gates to do everything well. So if you can read proficiently, it gives you a leg up on everybody else. So please consider the Freddy's Super Reader program from right here at Freddy's in North Johnson City. NFL Saturday. Let's start with the NFC games. Saturday, Atlanta, Philadelphia. Sunday, New Orleans and Vikings. At Minnesota, who do you like?
I like Atlanta. Atlanta has been, and I liked them last week. Atlanta's been a better road team this year than they've been a home team. And I just think with no Carson Wentz, I don't see Nick Foles being able to do much against the Atlanta defense. I see Matt Ryan making just enough plays for the Falcons to pull out the win. Minnesota at home, they've got the tougher matchup with New Orleans. New Orleans this year has transformed from a passing team. Drew Brees, he only threw 23 touchdown passes this year, which was the fewest that he's thrown since his rookie year. But they've been able to run the ball with Kamara and Ingram. I think Minnesota's defense will just give them fits. I think Minnesota makes enough plays on offense, they pull out maybe a 10-point victory.
AFC, Tennessee at New England, Jacksonville at Pittsburgh.
Tennessee has got to be able to put pressure on Tom Brady. If they don't, this game's going to be a blowout. If they can rush the passer, hit Brady a few times, keep the game close, don't make mistakes. Mariota has to don't be a turnover machine. You know that New England's going to key and concentrate on taking out Derrick Henry. So Mariota's got to be able to make a few plays, especially with his legs. They've got to have a chance, but I like New England to win big. The first game Pittsburgh played Jacksonville this year, Roethlisberger threw 5 picks, probably the worst game in his career. And Jacksonville has maybe the best secondary in the NFL. But I just think Pittsburgh's on such a roll right now. I think Bell runs the ball. Jacksonville's susceptible to the run. I think Bell will run the ball, catch a few passes out of the backfield, and Ben's been clicking with those receivers. I think they beat the Jaguars, and Jacksonville can't, unless Fournette has a big game, they're not going to score enough points on offense.
Jacksonville at one point was a laugher in the National Football League. What's been the turnaround down in Jacksonville?
The defense. That's been the defense and Leonard Fournette.
Is there a controversy in New England between Belichick and Robert Kraft and Tom Brady?
I'd say there's some jealousy there between the three of them. You know, still not filled that New York Giants job yet. And there's been two names that have been kind of interesting.
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban and Bill Belichick.
Yep, it's interesting.
I mean, both of them have been interesting linked, and that Giants job's not filled. I think the Giants are waiting to take their time, and maybe because they don't have to worry about early signing date, they can make, if they have to wait all the way to the Super Bowl, they could do that.
Chucky's in Oakland now, $10 million a year to coach the Raiders.
There's a sucker born every minute. That just proved.
I think it was a bad move.
That just proved.
He ain't that good, folks. I'm telling you.
It just proved there's a sucker born. He didn't come to Tennessee. Well, if I'm Tennessee, I'm just like catching my breath right now. You hired a better college coach, in Jeremy Pruitt than you would have had in John Gruden.
Yeah.
This is going to be. This is just like it's going to be a soap opera out there.
It's a carnival.
Gruden. Yeah.
It's going to be a carnival.
And I don't think. You've got to make the moves in the front office, and while Reggie McKenzie does a decent job as a general manager, I think you still need some front office stability. I just don't think Gruden's it.
First thing I would deal with if I was John Gruden was what to do with Marshawn Lynch. I think he's a clubhouse cancer. I think that's part of the reason of the demise this year. It's just me.
No, the reason that is Derek Carr.
Well, yeah,
he just was
fell off the table.
Yeah. He was just literally. I mean, you thought he was going to take the next step. I mean, I'm one of those because early in the year I thought Oakland I liked them as a possible Super Bowl team because I thought Carr was going to take that next step to be that elite quarterback, and he went backwards this year.
The game that turned the season for Oakland was the Redskins. They got beat on Monday Night Football and went down. So, anyway, I'm a Raiders guy. I don't think much about the NFL because of all the national anthem stuff, but as a Raiders guy, I think it was a bad move to get John Gruden. So
they've got to get Amari Cooper's confidence back. The drops. I think Michael Crabtree, they're going to let him go with this. I think he walks. They've got to look at getting the number 2 receiver. They do have to look at somewhere in the draft getting the back, a lead back that's younger, that gives you some. I think that's going to be a thing. And depends on, they may have to look at either another quarterback or what's the kid from Michigan State Connor Cook, maybe looking at giving. Even though they've given him Carr all that money, I mean, somewhere along the line, you may have to look at a Connor Cook and see, well, could he be an answer here?
It is a business somewhere along the line. It's called ROI, return on investment. If I'm paying those kind of bucks, you got to come through. Let's switch to college basketball. We're talking to Carmichael. He's going to tell us about the Parks and Rec. We've got Jeff Birchfield due to join us coming up here in a little while. We're live at Freddy's in North Johnson City. Again, right here in front of the Food City shopping complex here on the state of Franklin in North Johnson City, a growing side of a growing city in Johnson City, to be sure. College basketball tonight, Bucks and UNC Greensboro Freedom Hall, two teams that are right at the top of the pack, and two teams playing very, very well right now. Bucks have won 6 in a row, 10 out of the last 11. Big 7-footer Peter Jerkin, Southern Conference Player of the Week this week. So, big game tonight at Freedom Hall. What do you think?
Should be a good one, a rematch of last year in the Southern Conference Tournament. I think ETSU, they have finally, got everybody there, started playing, brought the new players in, developing this year. I think they're on a tick right now and playing well.
Bucks take on UNC Greensboro tonight at Freedom Hall. Tennessee basketball beating Kentucky, going to Vanderbilt, beating not a very good Vanderbilt team, but it's momentum for Texas A&M coming into town Saturday.
It is, and Vanderbilt, this year, if you're going to beat Vanderbilt in the next couple of years, you better be in this year because they've got a top 5 recruiting class in the country coming in next year. Tennessee playing well. I noticed today it's not too early for Joe Lenari to have bracketology, so I took a peek at it this morning. Tennessee is a number 5 seed right now on the bracket line. So that kind of surprised me a little bit, but for a team that was picked 13th in the Southeastern Conference preseason, they really needed that Kentucky win. I mean, they were 0-2 and staring down the barrel of 0-4, 0-5, and now they've won these last 2 games, playing much better. Got A&M. This is a big game for Tennessee. Maybe one of the biggest games of the season for Tennessee coming up this weekend.
Top 5 college basketball teams right now.
Virginia, Villanova, Michigan State, West Virginia, And I think before it's all said and done, Arizona will be back there.
So it's funny because you almost mirrored what Coach Robinson said earlier when he was here, Milligan College coach. He still says the Tar Heels, of course, he's tied into North Carolina. He still says that, keep an eye on them to get it going by March Madness. So if you started today, March Madness, second part of the question, if today it starts, give me 3 teams you think you can ride to a national championship if it started today. Same ones?
Michigan State, West Virginia, Villanova.
Who's overrated out there?
Kentucky. Kentucky will, and Kentucky may get it going by the end of the year. But I think Kentucky is probably the most overrated team in the country.
There you go. We're talking to our buddy Carmichael. We're live here. My man has just joined us, Jeff Birchfield from the Johnson City Press. He's going to slide in here and talk a little NASCAR coming up here in a minute. The Danica Aaron Rodgers, it's all over the tabloids now. So she may be wearing Cheesehead Packer green and gold. So
yeah, well, that's instead of wearing Roush Fenway race. Poor little Ricky.
Poor little Ricky got kicked to the curb.
He's put his cowboy hat on. I guess he can. And yeah.
He's, as Johnny Lee saying, he's looking for love because it ain't Danica, or maybe he kicked her to the curb. I don't know. Somebody got kicked, and so she's resurfaced with Aaron Rodgers for whatever that's worth. So.
Maybe she'll ride with Aaron and the dog in the truck on in the State Farm commercial.
Oh,
that dog. He has that dog in that State Farm commercial.
Oh, yeah. The dog may be replaced by Miss Patrick.
Yeah,
that may be how it rolls. What's going on in the Parks and Rec right now?
The big thing. Well, we're still looking for referees. If anybody wants to referee basketball, we've still got about a month left of the season, so we're still taking applications for that. Big thing right now is Daddy-Daughter Dance coming up on February 3rd. Tickets are on sale right now at the Memorial Park Community Center. They're $15 a ticket. For the first time this year that they're at the dance, they're from 5 to 6 o'clock for children who are special needs. The dance will be a 5 to 6 o'clock dance. Not quite a lot of times I know my daughter's one at special needs. And sometimes the lights and a lot of loud music, sensory overload, well, it'll be a little bit lighter, not as much lights, not as much the loud music. But for children with special needs, maybe parents sometimes don't want to bring them out with, traditionally developed children. Be a dance for children with special needs from 5 to 6 o'clock. They're welcome to stay. They can stay past 6. But that first hour from 5 to 6 will be only for the special needs children. Then from 6 to 8 will be the regular Daddy-Daughter dance.
What kind of milkshake you gonna get? You told me yesterday you're gonna be a shake guy.
Yeah, I'm a shake guy. I'd probably get me this is the first time I've been to Freddy's. I'm usually, because I'm stuck at Wing Deer, I never make it.
This is good food.
I mean, this is like a foreign country coming to me because I usually go during the day I'm stuck right there on the Bristol Highway, and at night I drive right up Roan Street, hit the interstate, and back over the Black Mountains.
So I've expanded your horizons. What you're saying.
You've broadened my. You
get one of them big cookies. You get a milkshake. Get a sandwich. Whatever you want.
I'll grab me I've got some leftovers from Mama last night, so I'll grab me a big shake, take back with me to the office.
There you go. Beep. I could be a referee, couldn't I? I used to be a referee. Block.
I tell referees in basketball and soccer and tell softball umpires, if you dress the part, if your uniform's neat, got the shoes, you look good, and when you make a call, if you sell it,
that's it.
You've got 95% of it done.
That's exactly right.
Even if you don't know it, they think you know it, especially in a recreation program, and that sells it, and that does it, and that's what I always tell them. It's like, look the part, act the part, and you'll do fine.
So one year I didn't do radio, and I was actually an official, and I was calling JV games, and I called him with Dale Ford. And he always called me Rookie. He said, Rookie, I like you. He said, because you sell the call. Because if you make a call and go, if there's any hesitation, everybody's like, he don't know what he's doing. If you call and go, block on 24, 2 shots or whatever, everybody's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And that's what he told me, the same thing.
Yeah.
Sell the call, look the part, act like you know what you're doing, and everybody up here in the stands will go along with what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if you make a phone call, if you make a call and go,
right, and your shirt's not tucked in, you look like a clown out there. You're not going to. And same thing with umpiring. You don't look the part. Dress nice. Look.
Would I have to cut my hair?
No, I've had referees with ponytails before.
So Willie Nelson go down to court to beep.
As long as you sell it, you can do it. Sad loss. Kind of want to. I guess with your work with Bristol Motor Speedway, you knew Steve Blevins.
Yes.
And I knew. And then my story with Steve is the very first quarter I'm at ETSU as a freshman. I take a class called Radio TV Lab, and back in the day, that was when ETSU had their campus station, not their WETS FM, but they had a campus, 10-watt campus station. You could only hear it in the dorms. And freshman 1979, you have to be there. Well, freshmen were always they would bring them in to teach them how to run the board first before they'd put them behind the mic. Well, Friday night, 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, nobody wants that shift because. Especially in college, because you want to
Friday night.
It's Friday night.
You're out on the road.
So I'm like, I raised my hand and said, I'll do it. I mean, it's get me behind the mic right off the bat as a freshman. And had a senior who was my supervisor because you had to sit like 6-hour supervisor. But I had to learn how to run the board and stuff myself for the first 2 or 3 weeks. Well, after that, they brought me a board guy in to run the board while I just did the talking and DJ'd the records and everything. And we'd talk. You just talk about sports, some news, and it was Steve Blevins.
Yeah.
And I had classes with Steve my entire, great guy, great talent, great voice for this area, and just sad thing. Sad to hear that.
He left here from WXBQ and went down to work with NASCAR, and we lost him a couple of weeks ago, I guess now. And good guy, really good guy, and he always called me Big Dog. I don't know why. He said, "Hey, Big Dog." So, hey, Steve, and so. Great guy, and yeah, he was an asset to the broadcasting community and certainly an asset to NASCAR. So we're going to miss him, and our thoughts. I don't know if I lost track of Steve. I don't know if he was married. I don't know but our thoughts and prayers go out to whatever family he had. We want to again tell you we're thinking about you because Steve was one of those good guys, kind of like Carmichael and Jeff Birchfield. So, all right, get you shaking, head on back. I'll see you next Thursday at Champions.
See you next Thursday, yes, sir.
You'll be back on that side of town next.
Be back, yeah.
So you will be.
It won't be a cultural shock coming all the way over.
I started to call him and go, "Are you coming?" GPS, but he got held up in AJ Allmendinger traffic.
Yeah, AJ spun out with a 18-wheeler spun out on the Bristol Highway. I mean, traffic was backed all the way back. I was able to get out from the park.
You snaked around, didn't you?
But it was back up over the hill and down toward the bridge.
Every time I go down the road with my kids in the car, the little ones, I say, watch this Kyle Busch move. I'll slingshot it. Every time I make a move, you made a Kyle Busch move. I'll see you next week. We'll take a break.
Yes,
We're live at Freddy's. Coming up next, Jeff Birchfield here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
We're back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. With you for a couple of more minutes. We're live here again. Hello, ladies. How are you? We're here at Freddy's in North Johnson City. So Birchfield says he gets the California burger, the double steak burger California style, 2 steak burger patties with Freddy sauce, cheese, sliced onions, lettuce, and tomato. So there you go. That's your fave.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Have you had the the A1 Chop House steak burger yet?
I haven't. I've been looking that over. I might get one of those today.
We're going to feed him because he stopped by to visit with us, and we always appreciate that. So we talk about the opportunities for the kids club and the fundraisers, but obviously the cornerstone of this establishment is the food, and they've got good food. And there's the Chop House steak burger up there on the screen, and it's A1 Chop House steak burger with grilled onions and cheese, and of course the great Freddy's hamburger. So that's the way to go. You also got the Freddy's all beef hot dog, the original double. You've got the bacon and cheese double steak burger, the grilled chicken breast sandwich. It's all available here at Freddy's. Even the kids meal, kids combos. You even got grilled cheese sandwiches. So on a cold day, which is not today, but on a cold day coming up this weekend, a good grilled cheese sandwich will set you free. So good stuff. And then of course over here the custard. I love the chocolate custard. You and I are about the same age, I think a little bit older, but you remember the old days, it's custard like it used to be back in the old days.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff, for sure.
He just says it's good stuff. There you go. All right, Jeff Birchfield, of course, covers NASCAR for the Johnson City Press, and we're not that far away from going back to work, getting busy. The countdown, 94 days to the Food City 500. We're 38 days out from the Daytona 500. Let's talk the tabloid thing a little bit, and then we'll get into some nuts and bolts. And what are you hearing about Danica and Aaron Rodgers? I know it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it's kind of fun to talk about. But she apparently has a new boyfriend.
Yeah, just what I've read online. Apparently those two are in a relationship and seen each other's parents and all that. So I guess Ricky Stenhouse, odd man out.
Snooze, you lose, right?
He got bump drafted. So I guess he's out of the way now. He's in the wall in turn 3.
He's at the last great Coliseum. He's in the wall. He's in the marbles. Turn 3. And nowhere to go. He's out. So by the look on her face, he's been replaced. So Ricky's gone, and Aaron Rodgers now in the saddle, hanging out with Danica Patrick. We are 38 days away from Daytona, and what are you hearing right now? Okay, let's back up. For folks out there that are following NASCAR, we've just come through the holidays. You got testing coming up. Here it is in mid-January. What are the drivers doing? Are they doing sponsorship commitments? What are they actually doing right now?
A lot of them are doing a lot of their sponsorship commitments now during the off season. You know, it's a good time for them to do that before they get into the meat of the season. As you know, a few drivers tested out at Texas Motor Speedway earlier this week, including the series champion Martin Truex Jr. I did a story a couple days ago, the Johnson City Press, about Kyle Larson had gone dirt track racing. There's quite a few guys out at the Chili Bowl this week going to participate in that Chili Bowl Midget Nashville.
Casey Kane, Justin Allgaier, also as you said, Kyle Larson, the Chili Bowl. He went down under. I read your article. He won, 3 out of 4 midget races down in New Zealand?
Yeah, sure did. And, back in the summer, he raced sprint cars in Pennsylvania, all over the north like that, and he won 6 in a row. So, I mean, outside of NASCAR, he's just an outstanding dirt track racer for sure.
We're talking to Jeff Birchfield again. You see with the Johnson City Press again talking NASCAR. So, read yesterday on the net that Jimmy Johnson, Chad Ganals, they are totally committed and recommitted for 2018. They're dialed in, and he's got a focus about him he hadn't had for a while. So that probably doesn't spell good for everybody else, right?
Probably not. And those guys, they've had their ups and downs over the years. Right before they won their first championship together, if you remember, had the sort of famous behind closed doors meeting with car owner Rick Hendrick. They were about to split the 48 team up at that point, where those guys couldn't get along and stuff, and so they've had their ups and downs as far as just the driver-crew chief relationship. But ultimately, both of them are so talented and work so well together that they've found a lot of success together. Obviously,
we mentioned the sponsorship commitments that these drivers go through. We're talking to shooting commercials right now. They're shooting the pictures, the photos, where they do the stand-up cutouts. Those are some of the things they do. The TV commercials, the radio commercials. That's the kind of stuff they're doing right now, right?
They do that, and they'll do a lot of it. Not next week, but the following week. We have the NASCAR Media Tour in Charlotte, and they used to go around to all the race shops and all that. Now they bring them to a central location, which is, close there to the NASCAR offices, and that way they're able to shoot their TV commercials for Fox and NBC and the, different TV partners there, and the things where, they'll do those poses. People can't see me online, but, they'll cross their arms and all that type of stuff.
Do those guys, I always wonder, because when you go to the media tour, they get inundated, but how many media folks are there, you guess? A couple hundred?
Usually a couple hundred. They've changed the format of it, though. Used to, you'd have different groups. Well, up until last year, different groups of people would go up and talk to drivers, one-on-one, and now it's basically you have an opportunity where they talk to the group as a whole at first, and then they split off the print guys from the TV guys, but you're still in your seats and just basically like a press conference format where you're asking questions. So it's definitely not as personal. You don't really get to know the drivers like you did in years past. That's some of the times you could actually just, after everything's over, sort of talk to them a little bit and get to know a little bit about them, beyond just racing. Back in the day, I remember one of the luncheons, I got Jeff Gordon sat at the table with me, so I got to know Jeff Gordon a little bit, outside of just racing, so that was nice.
I don't guess I've ever asked you this because he's been covering NASCAR for a long time. Who are when you see on the docket you're going to be able to interview XYZ driver, go, ooh, we're going to get some good stuff. Or you also see XYZ driver going, oh man, this is like talking to the wall. Who are guys, and I'm not talking about being controversial as far as giving you good quotes. I'm just talking about somebody that could sit down right here with us right now and shoot the bull, if you will, and talk football, basketball, politics, whatever. Who are some of those guys?
If you're don't have your recorder on, Matt Kenseth's a great guy to talk to like that. He and Jimmy Johnson, ironically, but if you turn your recorder on, or TV people turn their camera on, then they go straight into professional mode, where they, everything's cut and dried, and where they've been trained to do. But, I was thinking historically, one of the worst guys to interview, he's one of the nicest guys in NASCAR, but was always Terry Labonte, because he's just a quiet guy, and he'd always give you answers, would be like 2 or 3 word answers lots of times,
Yeah.
Even though he's a great professional, super guy, but, he was just, hard to get a lot of stuff out of like that.
Trying to pull it out of him. We're talking to Jeff Birchfield, so they get ready to go to Daytona. So step us through now on the track. They got the Clash. When do they all actually get into Daytona and start kind of zeroing in on the race?
Probably about a week before the race and all, and then this year's going to be different because they've always had the Clash on a Saturday night and then had NASCAR qualifying the next day and made like a big deal about it. Because Daytona is the only track where they have the one-lap runs and then followed by the qualifying races. But this year they're going to have the qualifying on the same day that they have the Clash, actually.
On February the 11th will be the Clash and the Daytona 500 qualifying. The duels will be on the 15th, the Daytona 500 on the 18th of February. Then they take off to Atlanta, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Auto Club Speedway, Martinsville, Texas, and roll into, on tax day no less, April the 15th, they'll be at Bristol Motor Speedway for the running of the Food City 500. Jimmy Johnson back to defend his crown. Of course, on the pole was because of rain. We had Kyle Larson on the pole. So here's the clash. Here's who is eligible to run this year. Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Dale Jr., Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Eric Jones, Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Martin Truex Jr. Those guys are in by being Coors Light Pole Award winners from last year. Former Daytona 500 winners are former Daytona 500 Coors Light Pole Award winners was Danica, Jimmy Johnson, and Austin Dillon. And then playoff drivers, Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray, and Ryan Newman. Of course, some of those aren't going to be there. Junior's not coming back. Danica is going to run, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, she's still, trying to get everything secured with her rides and all that for the Daytona 500.
So how many years has it been we're going to Daytona and not having Earnhardt down there, either Daddy or Junior? Long time, isn't it?
Long time. Let's say, I guess, probably since 76, maybe, something like that.
And then his father raced before that, too, didn't he?
He raced a little bit, although Ralph Earnhardt raced more in the sportsman ranks than he did in the Cup Series.
So 1970.
I'm going to guess 77, maybe 77, 76.
Wow.
So.
It's a long time. We're going into Daytona with an Earnhardt down there, either Daddy or Junior. We won't have either this year because Junior is elected not to run in the Clash. So
may have his nephew Jeffrey, but and I think he does have actually a lot ride lined up for the Daytona 500. I did the story about him a few months ago, and they were like on pace, and then they had a falling out with the team ownership, and so that sort of left him out in the cold now.
That was my next question. Is there another Earnhardt coming up, a nephew, a cousin, a grandson? Is there anybody out there with an Earnhardt name that's coming?
Well, besides him, probably Dale Jr.'s niece, but she actually doesn't have the Earnhardt name. She's Kelly, his sister, so her last name's Eldridge. Eldridge. I can't pronounce it today, but anyway, that's his niece. She's probably coming up, but she won't have the Earnhardt name.
We're talking to Jeff Birchfield. You've been covering NASCAR for how many years?
Gosh, I guess about 23 or so, and then I've been a fan my whole life.
So this is not the first time we've had a transition where we've had some of the older drivers step away and some young blood come in. But even having said that, is this a different type of scenario than you've seen in the past?
I think that we've had that in the past, but I think this one's probably the most extreme we've ever seen, really, with NASCAR. I mean, with all the big names that they've lost over the last 2 years. I mean, from Carl Edwards to Matt Kenseth to Dale Jr. to Tony Stewart to Jeff Gordon. I mean, that's major star power, major talent, as far as driving and all. Danica, I mean, as far as, star power in there need to throw in. I mean, that's a lot of, big names to replace at one time.
So who's out there that you're looking? I guess Jimmy Johnson may be the next one that would look at stepping away here in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I can't see Jimmy really racing more than 3 or 4 more years. I mean, I could be wrong about that, obviously, but I would think he's probably – I don't see him as a guy who's going to race into his 50s or anything like that.
What about the Busch boys? You think they'll be around for a while?
I think Kyle will be around for a while. Kurt, I mean, probably will be for another 5 years or so, but it's – I'm sure with Kurt the frustrating thing's been with sponsorships and all that, and – he's had to move around with so many different teams over the years and all.
Monster Energy has given NASCAR another extension to decide whether they're going to come back and play ball and stay as the primary sponsor. So that's kind of got NASCAR, I would think, kind of looking for a plan B. Should be. They better be. So, A, do you think Monster Energy will stick? And if not, who would step up and take their place?
I would think Monster Energy would stick. I know they're a part of the Coca-Cola company, and I would think NASCAR to have enough of a relationship with Coca-Cola maybe to, get one of the Coke brands, there, but it may not be as much money as they're looking for.
A couple of the sponsors that were looking to do this a couple of years ago, there was Monster Energy, there was LG Electronics, there was Coca-Cola, and there was a fourth one. I can't remember who the fourth one was. Yes, I can. It was an electronics company, and it was not LG. It was another one. But they were looking at
Was it the I can't remember. Hisense. Yeah.
Hitachi? No.
No, Hisense.
Hisense. That's right. Hisense, LG Electronics, Coca-Cola, and Monster Energy. And of course, they ended up going with Monster Energy. So, if you got that kind of hanging over, you don't know if your title sponsor is going to hang out. There's obviously a little bit of uncertainty. So, heading into 2018, because next time we get him on, it's going to be closer. We're going to get really into the nuts and bolts of the racing season at Daytona. But right now, heading into this season, grade NASCAR as far as being a healthy sport. Is it A? Is it B? Is it a C? Or would you give it a D?
I'd give it a C right now. I mean, I know I hear so many people saying the statement, NASCAR is a dying sport. I don't think it's a dying sport. I do think it's going through a down cycle, but I think it'll be back at some point, pretty strong. The formats and all, they're constantly changing those. So, they may run shorter races and stuff like that. Maybe go back to the old days and do some more short track racing, which is something that I love, so.
I was going to ask, if you were the commissioner, if you were Brian France, how would you fix NASCAR? What would you do?
I think that'd be the number one thing I'd do. I'd get some good short track, as far as the Cup Series, as we're talking about the top series, I'd get a few of those back on the schedule again, because that's where you draw the excitement. I mean, your best races of the year always are Bristol, Martinsville, Richmond, and of course a lot of people like the restrictor plate tracks because there are a lot of beating and banging and close finishes. I mean, everyone wants to see good competition, and a lot of those mile-and-a-half tracks just don't produce great racing.
So would you do an unprecedented move and leave the two races in Bristol in April and August and maybe say, okay, for the chase or for the championship run, now the playoffs, I want to put Bristol on as a third race and bring them back up here for a third time? Would that be a possibility in October or something?
I mean, I think it would be a possibility as far as, wanting to do it, but there's so many contracts and all, you got to deal with the tracks like that. I've always said the one event I've always thought would be the best fit in Bristol of any of them is the All-Star race.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're just not racing for, points. They're going out there and just beating and banging the last 10 laps at Bristol for, $1 million. You couldn't beat that.
Man, you talking about good. I'm right there with you. And I don't understand why they don't rotate it. All the other sports, primarily the big boys, the hockey, the baseball, they rotate to different venues, but they always have the All-Star race in Charlotte. I'm with you. I'd rotate it and put it in different races or different tracks every year to create some regional interest.
Yeah, I think it's time to do that. The excuse is always, well, we moved it in 1986 to Atlanta. It flopped down there, which was the second year of the All-Star race. Really hadn't been established as an event like that quite then. And then the other argument is, it gives the teams, in the middle of the season, they have the Daytona Speed Weeks, but they're at Charlotte where they're, most of the teams are based in Charlotte or close to Charlotte, and so it gives them an opportunity, for 2 weeks just to stay there and all.
All right, before I let you go, who's your dark horse this year and who's going to win it?
I'm going to go with Kyle Busch as a favorite to win it, and then dark horse this year, golly, it's hard to go against those big teams, but just the way he ran last year and now that he's in Penske equipment, I'll say as a real dark horse would be Ryan Blaney.
Joey Logano, what do you think about him?
Joey Logano definitely has a shot of winning it this year. Keselowski, all three of those Penske guys.
Yep, so Kyle Busch to win it and Ryan Blaney as a dark horse.
Yeah.
There you go. You hungry?
I'm hungry.
There you go. Get you something. Get that California burger, whatever you want. Appreciate you, man. You do a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yep, Jeff Birchfield with us again, Johnson City Press. And, of course, that's going to kind of wrap things up as we're live here again at Freddy's in North Johnson City here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. I do want to run down again real quick out of the Johnson City Press, and I do appreciate my man making sure that was a good thing, and we appreciate him very much, the Johnson City Press, with our buddy Jeff Birchfield. Here's your basketball schedule for tonight. It's a light one, but there is one nonetheless. Science will be in Elizabeth and boys and girls games tonight. Sullivan Central at Greenville and Cherokee at Granger, and Kachia, the homeschoolers, playing at Twin Springs tonight. That's some guys and girls. Also from last night, a couple of games in Southwest Virginia. Honaker beat Hurley by 21, and Chilhowee beat Galax by 20 as well, and that was last night. Virginia Tech beat Wake Forest 83-75 last night. Men's college basketball, the Hokies go to 13-4 and 2-2 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's a couple of sports notes here again on this Thursday, January the 11th, 2018. Again, reminding you tonight, big basketball game right down the road. East Tennessee State, the Buccaneers, winners of 6 in a row and 10 out of their last 11. They will take on UNC Greensboro at Freedom Hall, 7 o'clock tip-off tonight. So good luck to Coach Forbes and the Buccaneers of East Tennessee State as they'll take on a very good UNC Greensboro team tonight. And that'll be happening right down the road at Freedom Hall in Johnson City. And that would be a chance for me to say, again, UNC Greensboro 11-4, 2-0 in the Southern Conference. They beat North Carolina State and Wofford this year. East Tennessee State, of course, Their record 12-4 overall, 3-0 in the Southern Conference, and so it'll be a good one tonight. And so we'll find out about it tomorrow, of course, right here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Our guest today, Bill Robinson, the Milligan basketball coach. Carmichael, again, stopping by and talking sports as only he can. Jeff Birchfield from the Johnson City Press we just saw and met with. And, of course, Randall Jenkins, the store manager here at Freddy's in North Johnson City. Tomorrow we'll be at Food City in Jonesboro. The big 2-day sale going to crank up tomorrow. And, of course, we will tell you all about that. That'll be tomorrow. Then on Saturday, we're going to be live at Sprint, at the Sprint store in North Johnson City. Sprint says thanks. We'll be there broadcasting live with all the folks going on there on a Saturday afternoon from 2 to 4. We'll be live at Sprint store in North Johnson City. So we're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. We're going to step aside here, and I'm going to enjoy some good Freddy's food myself, and then we're going to pack it up and roll down the highway and get ready for tomorrow's show at Food City in Jonesboro on a Food City Friday. So for, again, Bill Robinson, David Carmichael, Jeff Birchfield, and store manager Randall Jenkins, this is Tom Taylor. Be sure and like it and share the show, please. We appreciate that. Hello to Martha Buck, and hello to Chris Payne. Also hello to, we had a whole slew of them today, and I should have told you who they were, and let's see if I can do that real quick because it's worth doing. Let's see here. Let me hit this real quick and say hello to AT up in West Virginia, John Michael Bear, Steve McCauley, Bill Patrick. We have Bill Patrick on tomorrow talking about the Kingsport Speedway, Lori Wilson, Chris and Trudy Coball, Terry Diamond, Jeff Bingham, Milligan College basketball, Chandra Shell, Kelly Essler, Valerie Coleman, Cuddy over in Elizabethton, some of the folks watching the show, Julie Williams, Melissa Larzo, very good, thank you. Randy Flincham, thank you, Randy, appreciate you, my friend. Joe Earls, Martha Buck, Rachel Burris, I believe she's the photographer for the Johnson City Press, Chris Payne, Kelly Essler, we mentioned, Darius Hensley, some of the folks. And again, we want to, before we get out of here, tell you, as we've been telling you every day, and it's very, very important to me, I hope it's important to you, he's coming April the 27th, 28th, and 29th to Freedom Hall, Johnson City. Evangelist Will Graham will be with him a week from Monday at the Cove, the Billy Graham Training Center in Black Mountain, North Carolina, broadcasting live there on the show, taking it to North Carolina. Looking forward to hanging out with Eric Wilkes, who operates the Cove, the manager of the Cove, Will Graham, the evangelist, who will be, again, the grandson of Dr. Billy Graham and the son of Franklin Graham from Samaritan's Purse. So we'll be there with them at the Cove on the 22nd on that Monday. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it. And again, that will be, again, a chance to take this show to the Billy Graham Training Center, the Cove, in Black Mountain, North Carolina. I don't know if it's ever been done before, but I'm going to go, and I can't wait. I'm telling you, get over there. And I was over there back in December, and man, you talking about recharging your batteries. It's quiet and serene, and just, it's an awesome place, and looking forward to trying to capture some of that on the show when in there a week from Monday. All right, we're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Back in the saddle tomorrow at Food City in Jonesboro. Bill Patrick will be there. We'll talk also to Mike Hedrick. Bill Patrick will be there with the Kingsport Speedway with a very special guest tomorrow. One of those